The door banged open and 5 people in lab coats walked in. I remember them saying, "We don't know how to tell you this, so we're just going to tell you that your blood work shows that you're living with HIV." And of course, when you hear something like that, your mind just explodes. I told my family, and they were remarkably supportive and loving. And that was the start of the journey privately. But then I didn't tell anybody else for 10 years. When I was living in this weird period of isolation, I turned to animals. You know, my horse never knew I had HIV, obviously. He never treated me any differently. The horses were this wonderful reminder that, you know, you could be touched. You could, you know, he has his own way of hugging you in a sense. And so it was a way to stay connected to the physical world. And when I felt fragile, you know, when the disease made me feel sick and not fully at capacity, I would get on a horse and I would feel perfect. I would feel invincible. HIV is a highly misunderstood virus, and it carries all of these terrible associations with it. It is something that can be weaponized by society against you. That's part of what drove me eventually to come forward and tell my story in 2006. I needed to feel like myself. I needed to be honest with people, and I needed to not be ashamed. And ultimately, I wrote anonymously for a magazine for people living with HIV. And then the mail started coming into my anonymous column from people who were also living these lives of secrecy and isolation. And it just made me madder and madder that, you know, if you get breast cancer or cancer or, you know, other diseases, you get support, you get flowers, you get people bringing you dinner and walking your dog. If you get HIV, suddenly you're a pariah. It doesn't need to be that way. That's what I set myself out to try to contribute to changing. I've seen HIV all over the world. There is nothing like standing there, the beneficiary of billions of dollars worth of research in healthcare, you know, in perfect health, holding someone dying of a disease that they don't even need to be sick from. We have the solution for this. And that's what makes it unconscionable for us not to deliver that solution to people. And so you do get angry, you do get your fight up. I work for the Joint United Nations program on HIV/AIDS. A large part of our mission is helping people understand the scope of the epidemic. We've reached a stage where 19.5 million people are on treatment, and that is remarkable. And we can do more in the next couple of years than we've done in the past 15 because of the advances in technology and just what we know. But we have incredible tools. It's just a function of getting them to those who need them. On the most basic human level, if you're fortunate and you have resources and you have knowledge and you have power, why would you not mitigate the suffering around you? Why would you stand there and do nothing when you could do everything? When they told me I was going to die in a year or two, and then I didn't, I got a new lease on life. But it was a new lease on life that always had an expiration date. And I know that a cure doesn't mean that I would live forever, that I'll still die, but it means I won't die from AIDS. So a cure for me is release from that particular prison of fear of having to experience that disease before I die. And it's a release from knowing that anybody else has to do it either. I often think, well, I do this work forever, and I will certainly do this work until AIDS is over. I will certainly do this work until we find the cure. I just want to have something else on the tombstone than she died of AIDS. And so I will die trying to make sure that that's the case.